I recognize the privilege and responsibility that I now have to introduce this celebration of life for our dear friend, mentor, boss, leader, son, father, grandfather, and husband. For over 40 years, the Maughan family have allowed us to sit at their family table and, in a way, share Rex. I am confident that most of the time this was a pleasure and a privilege to have so many of us enjoy Rex in his company. But I'm also sure at times it was not easy, but none of us ever felt that. We, all of us FBOs, have always felt welcome and part of the biggest family table in the world. And most of us, in our own way, have asked this unique family to scooch up a bit and allow us to sit at their table. For that, I would imagine all of you, as I am, are immensely grateful. But because it was this closeness, this intimacy and welcome that made us feel better. It filled us and made us want to strive harder and to be more. Rex and his family are unique in this. There are no prerequisites, entrance fees, skin color, language, or education requirements to pull up a chair at their table. It was come as you are, but do not expect to stay as you are. So on behalf of over 10 million FBOs who are currently registered, and the millions who have connected with us over the years, I say thank you. Thank you to Rex, and thank you to Todd, Sony, Greg, and Ruth for helping us to see further, to reach higher, and to love more. So over the next few moments, we will meet many of the people who Rex touched. Of course, it is not a complete list. It would be impossible and futile to even attempt to encapsulate everything that Rex achieved. His life was massive, but personal, global, yet intimate. He towered above us all, but was always willing to kneel with us. For those who participate in the program, thank you. We appreciate you being our voice. And I think in their faces, you will recognize your experiences, and hopefully it will inspire you to want to continue to reach far beyond where you are now. It was said to me recently that anyone that stood in front of Rex for more than a couple of minutes became his friend. I would like to add to that, not only were you friends, but you'd go away feeling that you were the most important person in the world and that you had a purpose and a job to do. And may I suggest now, as we honor that legacy, we can embrace his mantra: there is no problem that cannot be solved with an increase in sales. Enjoy a few moments reminiscing as we celebrate the life and legacy of our friend, mentor, boss, leader, son, father, grandfather, and husband, Mr. Rex G. Maughan. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for, we recognize this is such a private and personal and difficult time to say goodbye to a husband, to say goodbye to a father. It's not easy. And yet here you are willing to share such personal and private things with so many people. There will be hundreds of thousands of people watching this, you know. As we move through these questions, I just want you to make sure that you know how much we love you and what an important part of our lives each one of you are in your own way. Ruth, we didn't see you at the office every day, but there was absolutely no doubt that what an amazing part of our lives that you were. Same with Sony, we didn't see every day, but the contribution that you made, whether it be on stage or in a small conversation somewhere, it was unique and personal and powerful. And Greg, who we see day to day, is a lot more like Rex than probably he wants to admit. Mm-hmm. You know, in the way that he demands the best of you and hopes for the best, and he is very personal with the people. But Ruth, if you don't mind, we've all heard the folklore about the start of Forever. We've all heard the stories, and it was like this and like that, and the name change and all these different things that went on at the time. When you were sad at that, was that in Mesa? You guys living in Mesa then?
No,
we were in Central.
In Central?
Avenue.
Mm-hmm. When it started?
Yeah.
When that first, I'm sure it didn't happen immediately. The stories or, you know, Rex was out getting an idea, getting things together. What was it like in the house at that time when he was starting to think about this idea Do you remember those days?
You know, I was very calm about it. When he brought the little bottle of lotion to me, he just said, try this. He didn't tell me, okay? He didn't tell me what he was doing, what he was up to. But I quickly learned, when Rex came up with an idea, you better be ready. And so I just took the bottle and said, yeah, I like it. It's great. And then he told me, well, this is what we're going to be doing. And, I was a little bit shocked, but I had a lot of confidence in him. And, I was ready to go with it.
Fantastic. Did you have any idea it would become what it did?
No way in the world. No way did I think that little bottle of lotion would go all over the world. So it was an amazing journey.
Yeah. Would you say that you were excited or humbled or both? How would you describe that, looking back over the 44 years? Is that what it is about?
Oh, yeah,
no. We just kind of went step by step.
Right.
And I just enjoyed the journey, and was, after a while, never amazed, at what was happening, because it just kind of happened without you really noticing. It was just we were just having fun, enjoying it.
Wow, it's such an amazing observation. Was there any part of that journey you look back at and you say, at that moment it changed, like you suddenly realized this is going to be something unique, or was it, like you said, just a slow sort of boiling of the frog type thing,
Yeah, I don't know, we just all felt like such a family that it was just a family thing. And so I don't know that I ever really realized how big it was. I just went with it.
I love that. Now, you say it's like a family, and you guys have all seen the thousands and thousands of messages just littering the internet. We've had flowers and cards and posts and everything, and it's just been incredible, the outpouring of love. And one of the things that's common with a lot of the expressions is this: Rex was like a father to me. And I know personally that was probably easily the most amazing part of my professional life, was that relationship with Rex. He just made you feel so special. But we all said that he was like a father. For you two, he was your father. And that's a very, very real distinction, a very real difference. So Sony, what was it like growing up in the Maughan household?
Well, I think we were normal, like everyone else. We worked hard. That was probably the first thing that I think Dad taught us, is that we all worked hard, and if we worked hard, then we could play hard. And so we got our chores done, and he'd always take us and go do things. He taught us to be trustworthy. He taught us to be honest, and to take care of other people, to serve. And there was always fun, always fun, and crazy stuff. Life was never dull with our dad.
Yeah.
It was just, I thought, normal. He took care of us when we were younger, and we all played ball. He was our coach for all three of us. I don't know how he did that. We'd be at the ballpark every night, and that was fun. He took a lot of interest in us in those early days.
And with the grandkids too, because
Yes.
I know that you were always at your kids, my kids' games, and he was always the last to leave.
Yeah.
That was one thing that even at Jack and Sam's games, at my kids, it was incredible. He was saying hi to everybody.
I think we all have that problem. We're the last ones to leave.
The 3-hour goodbye.
Right? I just think we have to close it up,
What a great trait, though. Now, you say it was normal, and there's one thing that maybe some don't know is Rex's quirky sense of humor. And you say it was always fun. Tell me a little bit more about his dad joke type style of life,
Well, when he taught us all how to ski, and we were pretty young, about 7, and I was probably 9, and Todd was probably 13, and we were scared to death, but he was all over the mountain having a great time, and we got up on the chairlift, and he'd spot us, and he'd say, hey man, whoop man, don't eat the yellow snowman. And we were like, what is he talking about, you know? And, but those kinds of things just endeared us to him.
Yeah.
And he just always had little quirky sayings that he would do. He'd go, whoop, 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 you know? And he did that a lot with us, and especially when he couldn't remember something or someone's name, or trying to get the grandkids' attention, and the great-grandkids now. He always had cute little noises, things that were just very, very endearing.
Yeah. I can promise you that those cute noises transferred from the kitchen table to the boardroom. Because Greg and I have been in many places having he goes, whoop, 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 whoop. And we'd be streaking through an airport or something, and then we'd hear it, you know, and it was like, that's him as a father, and Greg, you had him as a boss. And you mentioned the other day that Rex was the same at home and at work. So what was he like as a boss?
Like a dad. Same thing. He really was genuine, and you know, didn't change when he came to the office. He was still, you know, Rex, and he was a tough boss, you know, in many ways, but very fair, and always followed through with what he has told you. You know, if he said, you do this and I'll do this for you, he always came through with that. And just amazing how he created this family culture within Forever. And, you know, I can remember all the Christmas parties that we would have, or the get-togethers. You may not know this, and Navaz will know this, but Ruth and Rex would invite, Rex bought this ranch, right? That started the whole ranching direction, and it was called Z Triangle. And Ruth and Rex invited all the executives at that time of Forever and their families to come up and stay in one house. And it was kind of a big house, thankfully, right? But they would come up for the 4th of July, and we did that for many years, and got to know the kids of the you know, because we were kids then, and became really good friends with them, and it was always a family type feeling. If you ask any of the employees here that have been here for 20, 30 years, they'll remember back to those Christmas parties, and you know, having the same Santa Claus come.
Right.
Well, I mean, it was Santa Claus, right?
For decades.
Come, and it was just amazing, the little things he would do to make you feel a part of his Forever family. Yeah. And I know millions have felt that, and that was the same here. And that was the same for me working with him. He didn't treat me as his son per se, I felt like, most of the time. It was more of, get to work. What are you doing? Show some results. And I really appreciate that, because he instilled a work ethic in me that I'm proud of now. And that's really important to me.
I was going to ask you that question actually about, did you feel that he treated you any differently because you were his kid?
I mean, yes, in some ways. I mean, it's natural, right? We're human beings. Right. But, you know, he made me go through the rank.
Oh, yeah.
And we always tell the story of me starting in the warehouse, and that's true. I started in the warehouse and went through all the different departments, and that was because, and it was, you know, at times I was like, why can't I just jump to the next level, right? But now looking back, that was really an important education for me. You know, forget the college education that I got. This was much more important, to learn the Forever way. And the only way you can do that really is to go through the motions and be able to see everything. And now I have such a more deep understanding because of that. You know, that was extremely helpful to me.
Yeah, when we always had a marketing plan question, we'd go to Greg, because Greg had spent so many years working for Kathy and Marcy, and you'd learn a lot that way. all of these experiences, he traveled the world constantly, and he always used to say to us, you know, I've slept more nights on a plane than I've had in my own bed. You've all heard that, right?
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
But as COVID hit and the traveling stopped, and even a little before that, you know, it slowed down just a little bit. You had the chance to spend some more time with him at home. How was that experience?
You know, that was really special because I got to know Rex in a different way. And it was the most that he had ever been home in our whole marriage. And I got to know of his sweetness, his kindness, his gratitude, and we just had special times, and it was really a gift to me.
Wow. So COVID was, and I know you recognize the suffering more than anybody, but the opportunity to be together was something unique.
It was. It was really sweet.
That's beautiful. You mentioned gratitude. I think that's one thing about Rex, is he always said thank you. Always. Even I look back, he's always thank you. And even on one of the videos you'll see later in the program, one of the lawyers he worked with always commented about the fact that he always was grateful for the stuff that you did. Now, Sonia, I know that you had a similar experience. You've been busy raising your family and going through all of that process. Rex has been traveling the world, and through the last couple of years, you've had the chance to spend a lot of great time with him. And a very personal question, and forgive me for it, but what do you think you learned from your dad in the last few years of his life that maybe you didn't know before?
He's really selfless. And I mean, here in this last little bit, when he was confined to his bed because of health issues, he'd say every day to me, "Son, take care of the people." And, you know, at first I kind of thought, okay, Dad, all right, you know. But as time has progressed and him being gone, I realized what he was telling me is to watch after. And that's who he was. I mean, on his dying deathbed, he was worried about everyone else but himself. And I knew that about him, but I think when you see someone suffer and they're not concerned about themselves and they're worried about other people, I think that really magnified to me how important that was.
Beautiful. Is it fair to say that when when life squeezes us, you see the real person come out?
Absolutely.
Is that a fair observation? Is that something you witnessed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because all of the words you used to describe are exactly what we know him to be, you know? Now, Greg, your relationship with your dad was a lot of time on stage, a lot of time on a plane, a lot of time with people, you know, and I've sat in thousands of meetings with you and Rex, and as you look back now, each one of those experiences becomes more and more important to you, obviously, as, you know, the opportunity to carry on doing it is gone. What do you think that you will take away from those experiences? What did you learn from watching him perform as Rex on stage, but also perform as Rex at home?
I guess the first thing I would say is that I will never be Rex. That's what I've learned. I learned that a long time ago. You know, I can remember being somewhere, Greece maybe, or somewhere, a long time ago when I was 30 maybe, and someone saying, "Why don't you get more social like Rex is," or something like that. And that really struck me at that time, that I realized I'm not Rex, I'm Greg, right? And although I've learned many important lessons from my dad, I learned that I'm not going to fill his shoes. I need to be who I am. And that was important for me. And Rex allowed me to be who I am. He didn't want me. He knew I wouldn't be Rex either, right? And so I think that was really important. I learned that he allowed me to be who I am and develop into who I am. And I think that's important for any father to learn, to let their kids be who they are. You always have these expectations, right? But in the end, you have to let them be who they are and let them be best at what they're at. And Rex was great at that. you know, I mean, gosh, there's so many memories and experiences that we've gone through. I would say another really important lesson I've learned is to never quit. Even though as hard as it gets and as painful as it may be, you don't quit. If you really love something, you have passion for it, you believe in it, doesn't matter how hard it gets, you keep going. And I learned that through many, many experiences with Rex. And just simple ones like you said, standing on stage. I mean, you remember the 8 or 9 hour days we would have standing on stage, and my feet killing me, and I just wanted to go sit in the tub and get some dinner and relax, right? And Rex would always be the one to say, no, we are staying. I'm going to take pictures with anyone that was here that didn't get a picture yet.
Yeah.
And sometimes that would be an hour, 2 hours more, and he would. And it just amazing, an amazing example of caring for those out there, wanting to make them feel important, and never quitting. Mm-hmm. And I think each one of us can learn that. If we really want to go after something, we got to have Rex's spirit of never quitting. And it's going to get tough, it's going to get hard, it's going to be painful. You got to just grit your teeth. And I remember he'd grit his teeth and he'd go forward, right? And that was an incredible example to me.
Awesome. He was a force of nature. There was no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. Sony, as you look forward now, and you got grandkids all around you, mm-hmm. and you know, and your family starts to spread out. What is it you think that you would like them to remember about Bumper?
Dad was a great philanthropist, and he always had a cause, and that's something that moving forward with my kids, I want to teach, because I just feel like in today's world, those things are being dropped on the wayside, and so I want to keep that alive in his memory, and teach my family that we look outside of ourselves, and we go out to help others, and to make it a better world. And I think, along with what Greg said also, that we don't quit. He always said, I can. Mm. And it was never about feeling defeated. He constantly, he wasn't afraid of anything. And I think that was to his advantage. We wouldn't be here where we are if he had those kinds of fears. And so I want my kids to know that too, that they can accomplish and be whoever they want to be. That is so poignant, that he wasn't afraid of anything. Because that is so true, and when you think about it, you know, there was nothing that... Ruth, where did that courage come from?
He was born with it.
Really? It came out like that, with a pair of skis on and
right? Yeah, he was. That's who I've known all these years. He, just like the Greg and Sonny said, is that he never was afraid to attempt anything. If he believed in it, then he went with it. And
that was contagious too, right? Mm-hmm. Is in the family, and then into the forever family further on. How much of that courage came from his faith, do you believe?
Well, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. I'm sure a lot. A lot from the way he was raised, and you know, he learned to work with the family and to work hard and to be responsible, and I just think that was just who Rex was. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We talked about compassion, we talked about courage, we talked about selflessness. Mm-hmm. Gratitude. Mm-hmm. You know, when you think about at the end of your life, what you'd want people to say about you, mm-hmm. There's not much else you'd want, really.
Mm-hmm. Love,
thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and as I've got a question for each one of you now, the same question, if you don't mind, and how best could we, as a family of forever business owners, and the thousands that are watching, how can we continue and grow Rex's legacy? Ruth, could I ask you that question?
You know, I think we've said it many times, that the last words, the last few words that he spoke before he left us was, take care of the people. And I think that's what he would want us to do, is to be mindful of them and to carry that on.
Beautiful. Sony?
He always said to me these last 2 months, what's next, Son? What's next? So I think that he wants us to always keep going after our dreams and progress and not sit on the wayside and be remorseful or sad that we need to pick ourselves up. And he was always looking for what was next, even though he couldn't even get up. He was looking for what was next.
Very true. Greg?
I ditto what they say, and I would say, keep talking. Rex always talked. He talked, he talked, he talked. Anyone he could find, he talked, right? And I think that's what also he would want us to do, is don't stop talking about him, about the company, about the products, about the opportunity, about sharing, about caring. Talk. Open your mouth and talk and take action, because things happen right after that. Usually good things happen right after that.
I think great advice. Oh, excuse me. All of us that are watching this are humbled by that and grateful for you spending time with us.
I think if he could speak to us now, he would say to all of us, all over the world, go meet someone and make a difference in their life.
Go meet someone and make a difference in their life. I can't think of a better way to end this intimate moment and this wonderful opportunity to spend time with wonderful Ruth and beautiful Sony and powerful Greg. We love you guys, and it's a great responsibility of mine to speak on behalf of all of them, but I know they'd say, we love you, we appreciate you, we want to do what's best for you. So let's go out and help the people, right?
That's right.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How fitting that a man who was such a profound lover of story would be the protagonist in so many himself. The epic of Rex Maughan, international entrepreneur, businessman, and humanitarian, began humbly in November of 1936 in the southeast highlands of Idaho. There, at 6,000 feet above sea level, rests a quiet valley where cold, rippling rivers and creeks provide excellent trout fishing, where vast fields of grain wave in the breeze, and where cattle graze lazily in the mountain pastures. If not for its natural beauty, one wouldn't find much remarkable about the town that sits at the base of this valley, the community of Soda Springs. But once told the story of its most extraordinary character, you'd be hard-pressed to ever forget it. That was Rex Maughan, son of an Idaho state policeman turned land farmer, William G. Maughan, and Laura P. Corneliuson, and brother to Jerry, Brent, and Sue. The fantastical stories Rex read in his childhood were his earliest calling to explore the world and seek out its many adventures. It would take another 84 years to recount the innumerable tales and legends associated with Rex, a man who left an imprint on the world wider than 1,000 Idaho valleys, and yet made every person whose path he ever crossed feel like the only person on the planet. Of course, in those early days, he was just an ordinary boy named Rex.